concept what we have done in the last session. Now, what is the purpose of LDS? This is used to interact with the database on the server side without writing any Apex class. Without writing any Apex class or a server side controller, we are trying to interact with the database and get the data. So what are the operations we can perform? Loading the record, saving the record, reading the record, and deleting the record. Right. Now, when you're going for these, what is the component we have used? In yesterday's class, we already seen force colon record data. What are the attributes you have seen? Record ID, which will hold the ID of the record. Then we have seen layout type. Now it will specify which fields has to be used. What are the different types of layouts we had? Full or compact. Then we had a mode which indicate in which view we want to see. Do you want to see it in the view or edit? Then we have seen about target record. Target record, it is going to give you target record, it is going to give you list of all the records. Target record, list of all the records. The record which you are referring, whichever the record we are referring, the record is featured. Right. Then we are given fields. What are these fields? The fields. Fields will deal with the list of fields which you want to retrieve from layout. The list of records which you want to fetch from layout. Then we had target fields. The exact record what we are trying to fetch. Then we also have target error. So these are the attributes what we have seen in the last session in terms of force record data. Am I right or wrong? Okay. Now, if you want to use this component for the LDS, there are two interfaces what you are supposed to implement. What are they? Flexible. What is the first one? Flexi page. First one, flexi page available for record home. Second one, force record home. Other one is force has record ID. The next one is force has record ID. Force has recorded. What is the purpose of this? It will ensure that you are passing the ID of the record in the URL. It will ensure that you are passing the ID of the record on the URL. Right. This is what we have seen in the last session. Okay. Let me recreate once again quickly for the sake of understanding, so that we go for operations like it. Let us go back to this. So let us see this setup. I just had a quick review of what we have seen in the last session. Lightning component. Lead update. Lead update. So what we are supposed to implement? Implements. Right. What is the first one? Let's see page. So what is the interface? Has record home page. Flexi page available for record home page. Just copy pasting to avoid the typo errors. Then similarly, again we had force has record ID. Again, I'm trying to copy paste the structure to avoid the typo errors. These are the interfaces which you are implementing. Good. The next, you are trying to create force record data. Force record data. What is the first one we had? Record ID. Record ID is given as B dot record ID. So whatever the ID of the record you are passing, that I am storing to an attribute called record ID. Then we had layout type. I have given full. Then we are giving mode equal to edit. Then we had target, 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 record. So this I am storing to v dot. I have target fields. Then we have target error. So this record data is purely referring to the record which is fetched from the ID. On the top, whatever the ID of the record you are passing, from that ID we are getting the data. That record is referred by record data. Whichever the record ID we are passing on the URL, that record data we are fetching, and that record is referred by ports record data. Is that was clear? Okay. Next we are going for. We are supposed to give era attribute name equal to record ID, type equal to. Then we are supposed to have how many variables more? Record fields. Then we have record. What type is this? What is the next one? Simple rec is also what type of value is this? Object. Then we are going to the next one. What type of value is this? So whatever the attributes are passed here, whatever the values we are getting, that are stored to these attributes. So the record what we are getting, they are stored to the corresponding attributes. Once they are stored to attributes, we can perform whatever we want. Okay. Now at this level, we want to create some UI. So what did you do in the last class? Lightning card. I want to create a lightning card and I want to create a paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. I want a lightning card with 3 paragraphs where I want to say last name, first name, company. Or I want to say name, phone, company. So I want to create one page, one form I want to create. If you want to create any form in a proper UI format, I am using lightning icon. I am using lightning icon. When you are using lightning icon or lightning card, when you are using a lightning card, we need to understand the CSS and all this stuff. So in yesterday's session, what we have done, instead of creating all this, okay, simply what we have done, you have taken one of the existing structure. Whatever the existing structure they have given, we have just copied it. Am I right or wrong? Whatever the structure they have given, just we copied it. Okay. We copied and modified the structure. Here also I am copied the code. When you copy the code, so what we want to do? They are taking an account, but I want to take a. My intention was to create a lead. So in the lead, what I am having? Lead name. Right. So we had phone. So here we have simple record. They took a simple record. The variable name is our choice. So I have taken a simple record. They have taken a simple record. So simple rec dot. Okay. Now the question is, do you want to take a input format or output format? You want to take it in the form of input or output. So I don't have any intention of copying the existing structure. We want to take only the structure, but the attributes inside we want to change it. So my intention was to take only lightning card. My intention was to take only lightning card. Rest of the data I will create as per my choice. So what do you want to create? Lightning input label label. Then what is the value they are giving? input label. What is the value you want to give? Value v dot simple record dot. Then I want to take phone. So what did I do? In the lightning card, the title I have taken, I took three input components. Input label name, label phone, label email. So a component is created. Now in case if the record is not loaded properly, what will happen? You are getting the record. In case if the record is not loaded properly, then I have to get an error message. In case if the record is not loaded properly, I have to get an error message. So for printing the error message, we took this code. Okay. So what I have taken? I have taken a error. What is it? Was if v dot error is not v dot error. If the v dot error is not empty. V dot error is not empty means what? There is an error in this. If there is an error, print that error. If the v dot error is not empty, print that error. If the v dot error is not empty, if is to not empty, if it is not empty, there is an error, print that error. If it is not empty, there is error, print that error. Okay. Now we created a component, we created a card in which we are trying to print three elements here. Right, boss? Now how do you include this in the lightning? Go to the application. Go to the application. Go to the leads. So open any one of the record. Open any one of the record. Right. Once you open any one of the record, this is the record what I opened. Go to the setup, edit page. Scroll down. Lead update example. Still the component is loading. Let me wait for the component to load. This how. What was that error? Simple get attribute failed. Where was that? This is a class name. It's okay. The error was that there is a spell mistake in that component. So go back to this. Right. Then save it. It will ask for activation. It will ask for default org. Assign to default org. So go back. Okay. So this is how open the detail page. Whatever the data was there, the same data was coming. Phone number, and data. Now, what is my intention now? So, our requirement is whatever the record is there, that record data I have captured, and I create a component of my own to display the data. Now, my requirement is when I modify this data and click on update, the record should be updated. So, what is my intention? I want to perform an operation of update. What is my intention? I want to perform an operation of update. Let us see how the data will be updated. So, if you want to update the data, first we are supposed to create it. We are supposed to create a button. How do you create a button? Button, label, submit, on click, see dot. So I create a button. I create a button and I told when you click on the button, call see dot show. So first let us see whether button is displayed or not. Refresh the page. So when you are making a LDS, refresh the page until you find the changes. So this is how we got it. So when you click on the button, the modification what I have done, if I change the value, this should be updated. If it is updated automatically, what happened? If this is updated, automatically this record also will be updated. If I update the data here, it should be updated. Now when I click on this button, how to take the data and make an updation? How to capture the data? How to make an updation? Now in the Lightning, elements are recognized based on ID. So what I'm doing? Record data, URA, ID. So what is the ID I have given? URA ID, my record. The ID of the element is my record. So using that ID, I want to fetch it. So first what you are supposed to do? Controller. Go to the controller. What is the action we have given? So give this component as. Listen carefully, boss. From now, listen carefully. Now, whatever the record data is there, that record data I have to fetch in the scripting. So how do you fetch it? Where? Or else I can give where result equal to component dot find component dot find. What do you want to find? Find the element whose ID is my record. Find the element whose ID is my record dot save. What is your intention? What is your intention? Your intention is when you modify the data, it has to be saved. To save the record, we had a function called save record. Look at this. If you want to save the record, we have a function called save record. Now, look at the point. After saving the record, I want the callback to be created. After saving the record, I want the callback to be created. So how do you create a callback? Look at the point. I am getting the component. Now, this component itself want to create some action. So what it is taking? Param1. What is this param1? Param1 is callback. What is that param1? Parameter 1 is a callback. Parameter 1. This is the parameter what I am creating. $a dot get callback. $a dot get callback. We are passing a parameter. What is the name of the parameter? $a dot get callback. So in place of param, I am giving $A callback. In the save record, we had one parameter. What is that parameter? In the save record, we had one parameter. That parameter is $A dot get callback. Okay. So look at the functionality. $A dot get callback. So within this callback, what is the action you want to perform? Within this callback, what is the action you want to perform? Function. Did you get my point? Did you get my point? So I'll give it here. What is the param? What is the param? Function. This is the parameter. So when you are calling, now tell me how you make it. First, this will contain logic. What you want to implement. Save result. Save result will contain the status. Save result. This will contain state. This will contain state, which will specify success or failure. This will contain status, which will specify success or failure. What are the states we had? What are the states we have? Success, draft. First one is success, other one is draft, third one is incomplete, fourth one is incomplete, fourth one is error or an exception. So save result. What is the save result? This will contain the state. This will contain the state. Based on the state, you are supposed to perform the action. Based on the state, you are supposed to perform the action. So we have save result, which will contain the status. Just like this is similar to database dot. What this will contain? What this will contain? Success or failure. Then errors ID. Similarly, when you are making a DML using LDS, you are going to have save result. What it will contain? Success or failure. Success or failure. If it is success, what do you want to do? If it is a failure, what do you want to do? It's your choice. Just like this thing. Okay. Next, what is the next one we had? What is the next one we had? Get $A dot get from one is function. This is parameter 1. I hope you are clear, right? This should be passed as parameter. Then what is the next one we have? Save. This will take $A dot get callback as. Now save record has one parameter, which is a $A dot get callback. Get callback has one parameter, which is nothing but function, save result, function. I hope you are clear now. You are good with this, right? Okay. Now, what I am going to do? This is the functionality I have given. Let me give on the top. So now, split up. This is the structure. The structure first to find out where state equal to save result dot state. If state equal to success or state equal to draft. If state equal to draft, then I am going to do console dot log record updated successfully. Else, see, if the record is updated successfully, you want to perform action at some other component, you can do it. Right now, our intent is to saved or not is what we are checking. If it is saved successfully, call this method. If this is saved successfully, invoke this functionality, that we can do it. So at this level, what we are trying to understand, is it saved successfully or not is what we are checking out. Done. So basically, it is a two lines of code boss. We can expand it as per your choice. What is that? When you call this component, what it is going to do? Component dot find record data. Component dot find record data. On that record data, invoke an operation called save record. When you invoke an operation called save record, what is going to happen? It is going to call callback. It's going to save the record and going to call callback. What is the callback? We want to know whether it's a success or a failure. If it is success, we want to give one message. Failure, we want to give one message. So go back to the file. Don't make any changes. Just refresh the page. Then I'm taking a phone number. What is it? A component has error has occurred, uncaught, uncontrolled action shown. Check out what was the bug here. Save result dot state. Did I call it? First of all, c dot show. Okay, show is called. Then what is the status we got? Dollar a dot get callback function save result. Okay. Then we had function. Okay. Save record. Okay. Save result dot state equal to success. Do this. State equal to draft or draft. Do this. Else this. Let us cross check the code. What is the action we have given? Show function. There may be error in terms of ID. Cross check the ID what I have given. What is the ID I have given? My record. I'll replace the ID with my record. The same thing I have given component dot find ID of the record dot save record dollar a dot get callback function save result. Then what we have? Save result dot state. What is the next one we have? Save result dot state. Is state equal to success? State equal to success or state equal to triple equal to. Get the scripting here. We are going to use triple equal to. Okay. Let us go back. Refresh the page. So there may be a capital or small error, nothing more than that. Maximum the error will be a capital or small, nothing more than that. Maybe in terms of case sensitive, somewhere we might have missed out. Now, go to the record. Look at the record 987655. So when I make a change, it's getting changed here. So what was the error here? Error was in terms of ID. Right. So what we have done was you have saved the record, but I'm not getting I'm not getting a notification saying that record is saved. If I'm not getting a notification that record is saved, then how do I know? Then generally what the people do when you're trying to make a save it, look at the top, you'll be getting some message on the top, saved, updated, like that we're getting a top message, okay? So that we know that record is getting updated. So you want to post any message on the top saying that record successfully saved, record failed, then we can do it, okay, by giving some messages on the top. So in this case, let us come back to the code again. So have you followed this code? Once again, I'll give the code. So let me know how we have created the code. Let me know how you created the code. Look at the point. Component dot find ID of record data dot save. This is how we are supposed to do. Extension is what? Component dot find ID of record data. For the save record, you are supposed to pass parameter. What is it? This is what you are supposed to do. Am I right? In the save record, we are passing a parameter. We are passing a parameter. Now, what is this parameter now? Component dot find ID of record data, save record. So this is simply I am using this for what? To tracking success or failure. This is what? Function close. This is get callback. Get callback. This is what we have done, right? Am I right, boss? So if you want to write a logic, how did you write? Component dot find ID of record data, save record, get callback function. The function what we have? This is what we got. Now, if you want to write any logic, we are writing within this slot bracket. This is all we got. Now, I am giving save result dot state success or error message. Success some XYZ logic, failure one XYZ logic. This is the structure in which I have written. Is that was clear? People have got this? Clear for everyone? Right, boss? Okay. Now, this is for creating a new record. Now, this is for updating the existing record. Now, I want to create a record. So, when I am making update, I am not taking a new data. I am not taking a new data. I didn't take a new data. What I was doing? Existing record, whatever the existing record I am referring, the same record I am updating. So, if you want to perform a save record, okay, update the record, ID should be there. Without that ID, I cannot do it. That is the reason, if I create a lead, that should be added on the lead only. If I create a contact, that should be created on the contact only. A lead will be created on lead, contact will be created on contact component. Because I need the ID of the lead, so the component also should refer to the lead. I need the ID of the contact, so the component also will be created on the contact. Okay, on the contact home page. Are you getting? As we require ID of the contact, the component should refer to the contact details, right? And the component will be added on the only component home page. Now I want to take an example. On the account page, I want to create a contact. The page should be an account here. Look at this. Now we are going for an account. In the account, let me open any one of the record. On this account, here I want to create an option. Here I want to create an option. Look at this name, stage name, close data. I want to create a button. When I click on this, opportunity should be created. Now this is not taking the data from. Why the data is not coming here? Look at this. Why the data is not coming here? Record is account, but this component is related to opportunity. The component is related to opportunity, so record is not coming. So this component is given to insert opportunity from account. From the account page, how to insert an opportunity. From account page, how to insert an opportunity. So we are trying to create a new record. What you are trying to do? You are trying to create a new record. If you want to create a new record, like how we got a save record, we also have a new record. Now, first let us understand new record functionality. The code I will try to explain what is the functionality. Creating a record. When you go for creating a record, first let us understand how to create a record. This is a small change between previous one and this one. So let me explain the code first. Try to get the context, boss. Right. So how are you going to create this component? If you want to create this component, what is the method we had? Get a new record. Previously it is save record. Now right now what we have? Get a new record. Now first try to understand the syntax. The way you have understood the top syntax, the same way let us understand the syntax. Component dot find ID of record ID dot get new record. Previously for save record, how many parameters are there? Only one parameter. But for the save record, for the new record, there are four parameters. Param 1, param 2, param 3. If you want to use get new record, previously that is save record. Now we are using get new record. Get new record has how many parameters? 4 parameters. What is these 4 parameters? First parameter. Parameter 1. Type of object you are using. On which you are creating a record. So, what is the possible values? Possible values, sir? Possible values, sir? So, parameter 1, type of the object on which the record is getting created. Parameter 2. Now, when I am trying to create a record, object may have record types. On the object, I may have multiple record types. If you have multiple record types, I will tell you this get record is getting created using which record type. Suppose if that object has a multiple record types, using which record type are you inserting the record? Object may have record type, may not have record type. In case if that object has a record type, based on which record type are you creating, that I have to give it as param 2. So param 2 is what? Record type ID. ID of the record. ID of the record type. Then param 3. Are you going to use a cache? Are you going to use a cache? Do you want the data to be stored in the cache? If you go for a cache, what happens here? A simple example. Now any autocomplete is coming because there is no cache. If I maintain any cache, when I give dev, all the usernames with the dev is coming, right? So do you want to maintain any cache? Do you want to maintain any cache? True or false? Because LDS maintains strong cache. LDS maintains strong cache so that the data can be shared with multiple components. The data can be shared with multiple components. I told you, LDS has a strong cache implementation so that the data can be transferred across the components or retrieved from the components. So parameter 3. Then parameter 4. Parameter 4 we know already. What is parameter 4? Dollar a dot get. So how many parameters we have? Parameter 1 type of the object, parameter 2 record type ID, parameter 3 cache, parameter 4 get callback. Now in the get callback, whatever the logic you want to write, you write it in the function. This structure is clear. Now LDS, we are not learning a new concept, we are learning a new method. It is not a new concept. In the LDS only, save record is one method, get new record is another method. In this method, there are 4 parameters: param 1, param 2, param 3, param 4. Param 1 is the object type, param 2 is the record ID, record type ID, 3 is the cache or not, 4 is the get callback. Now in the callback, get callback. Now look at the point. Now we are creating a new record. When you create a new record, what happened? I am not inserting the data. I am simply creating a record like this. My intention was to create account equal to new account. That's all. My requirement is to create account ACC equal to new account. When I say account ACC equal to new account, then only the VF page or lighting page ACC.name, ACC.phone, ACC.industry. Am I right? Boss, if you are creating any VF page, if I want to use input text value equal to acc.name, first what should I do? What should I do? In the class, if I don't initialize, if I give it like this and leave it, what happened? Right? So that is the reason what we do. Public example. Now, whatever the name I am entering here, that name will be saved to this ACC. So, ACC.name. Initially, what is the value? Null. ACC.name is null. ACC.phone number is null. So, whatever the value I am entering in this input text, that is saved to ACC.name. Right? Same concept I am applying here. Now, this is nothing but initializing the value. First, what I am trying to do in this case, I am trying to initialize first account ACC equal to new account. Account ACC equal to new account. How I am going to initialize? Component dot set component dot set the record. Component dot set record. We are trying to set the record. We are trying to set the record. Let me give you component dot set. Okay, sorry. Component dot get. Now, whatever the record we are trying to create, we are trying to get the component. Whatever the component was created, get that. So, what was this? Record, REC. This is record. Now, we are saying account ACC equal to new account. Now, this REC is referring to what? That instance. Now, in place of ACC, we are getting REC. Similarly, you want to give any error message, component dot get error message. Now, I want to say, if there is any record available in this, is it null or value? REC is a null or a value. When is that REC equal to null? If no record is created, if account ACC equal to new account, it is not null, it is empty. Account ACC equal to null. Account ACC equal to new account is account empty. Now, if REC is a null, throw error message. But no initialization is done. Okay, error message. No, it is not null. No, it is not null. Perform the operation. So I am saying, boss, at the time of loading the page itself, check if it is null, print the error message. So if I want this component to create a new record, first that instance should be there first. New contact instance should be there. Otherwise we cannot create. Okay. This is done. Okay. Now again come back. Once again I will repeat the procedure. Now tell me how you create. Tell me how you create. Component dot find ID of record dot get contact. I am saying it is an object contact. I am creating a record for a contact. Then I am creating null. I don't have any record ID, record type ID, so I am giving null. Next I am giving null. When I give a null, boss, no record type. Then false. I am not going to maintain any cache. What is the fourth parameter? $a dot get callback. This is the parameter. So what are the parameters? Parameter 1 object. Parameter 2 okay record type ID. Parameter 3 cache type. Parameter 4 callback function. In this function I am doing. So what do you want to do? You want to check whether contact record is initialized or not. So what I am doing? Component dot get v dot if null print some error message. Till here anyone has any query? Till here anyone has any query? Right, boss? Here I am not inserting the record. I didn't insert the record. I only created contact con equal to. I only created what? I only created. That's all. I am verifying whether contact con equal to new contact or contact con. That's all. Now I am verifying whether this is contact con equal to new contact or that's all. So I am ensuring that it is a contact con equal to new contact. I didn't insert the data. I didn't save the record. I didn't assign the values. I didn't save the record. It is only like a constructor. What you have done in the constructor? ACC equal to new account. Same thing I am doing here. So in place of constructor, you want some action to be performed. Tell me what action you are going to use. In the Lightning, we can have one component which can replace the constructor. What is it? Exact functionality of constructor can be handled by what? URA handler. Do you remember that? URA handler name equal to init, value equal to this. That is what? Well, component is loading, this will be initialized. Now constructor also will be running when a class is loaded, when the page is loaded, constructor will run. Similarly here, when a component is loaded, handler will run. So what the handler is doing? Ensuring whether memory for con is initialized or not. Right, boss? Okay. Now once it is initialized, then I want to check. I want to save the record. How will you save the record? For saving the record, same concept. What is that? Component dot find id dot save record. Either you are inserting a record, updating a record. What is the functionality we have? Save result only. Either you are inserting a record or updating a record. What is the functionality I have? Save record. Okay, save result. Are you getting my point? Save record. So this is only for get new record is only for initialization only. Get new record is only for initialization. Again, while inserting the record, what is the functionality we are using? If you want to insert the record, again the same old functionality will be used. What is the same old functionality? What is the same old functionality? Component dot set. This one. Component dot find save record function. Any change? Any change? So the update saving the record is the same thing is done. Same thing is done. Okay. Now the next question here. So the save record already we know what we have done. Okay. Same thing will be called. So first get new record is only for initialization. Once the values are assigned, then I will save the record. But the problem here is my intention was to create a contact. If you want to create only contact, I have no problem. But I want to create this as a contact for the account. From account page, I have a contact. When I click on this, contact should be created for that account. The contact should be a child of that account. So on the account page, ID will be there on the URL. So whatever the ID is there, we are able to capture that ID. So can I assign that ID to contact? Okay, how do you assign? Contact dot account ID equal to ID what we received. Now, when you add a component to the page and has record ID, it ensures that account ID is there on the top. So we are able to capture that account ID. Now, contact dot name, contact dot phone, contact dot email, contact dot account ID equal to ID of the account what we fetched. Now, how do you assign the value? How do you assign the value for a attribute? Component dot set v dot attribute comma value. V dot attribute comma value. So what is the attribute we have? V dot simple contact dot account ID equal to whatever the value we receive. Are you clear? So let me first show the demonstration. I'll come back to the code. We'll see it. First, let me show one demonstration. Did you get a concept? Did you get the concept of get new record and save record? Right? So first, let me create an example. So lightning component. Right. So let me give the code. So if you have not found out this code, if you are finding anything different in this code, let me know. I can help you out. Otherwise, I'll just replicate the code what is there. By this time, you know each and every attribute that is given here. First of all, what is our requirement? We are supposed to create record data. Anything difficult you are finding in this record data? ID of the record, layout full, target record, target fields, target error. Everyone is comfortable with this? Now in this, what are the attributes you are saying? Target record, v dot new record. So we got v dot new record. Simple new contact, simple new contact, new error. We used to give target error, the same thing, right? This is, we are familiar with this. One extra thing you are finding is URA handler. One extra thing you are finding is URA handler. Okay. That is clear, right? People are clear with this. These lines are clear for everyone. Right, boss? Online people. Are you comfortable with these lines?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Now, then, once you're done with this, now what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to create a form, right? If you want to create a record, what you are supposed to do? You are supposed to create a form where I should enter the name, phone number, all these things. If you want to create a form, how do you create it? Lightning, input, label equal to last name, label equal to last name, value equal to what is the record? Record is new contact. Record is what? New contact. What is the record here? Simple new contact. What is the record? Simple new contact. So what should I do? V dot simple new contact dot last name. V dot simple. Now we give ACC boss. How you give ACC dot name? Input text value equal to ACC dot name. Similarly, we are giving what? Simple new contact dot first name. Simple new contact dot last name. Simple new contact dot title. Am I right? What is this? Lightning input, label, first name, last name, title. Are you clear? Lightning input, label, value. What is the label? First name, last name, title. Right. At the bottom, we want a button. When you click on the button, record will be saved. Okay. Now, when you want to perform this, there are two things I have to do. First thing is initialization. When the component is loaded, we have to create a contact C1 equal to new contact. Second one, when I click on the button, record should be saved. So, how many we require? Two controllers. One controller is for initialization, another controller is for saving the record. Initialization, saving the record. So go to the controller. So in this controller, let me hand over the code. A lot of unwanted stuff is there. I will remove it. So, now look at this. First, preparing a new record for the template. So what was this? Component dot find. What was the ID? What was the record ID? Contact record created. Component dot find contact record created dot get network. Which object is this? Contact object. Record type null. Cache false. Dollar get callback function. Then component dot get v dot new contact. What is this v dot new contact? New contact. New contact. If the new contact is empty, throw error message. Not empty, don't throw error message. Are you getting my point? If it is empty, throw error message. Otherwise, don't leave it. Right. So, next, this is what we have done. This is initialization. Now you want to create a record. When you want to create a record, I'll just simplify the code. When you want to create a record, first, now let us see. What is the contact here? Simple new contact. What is this? Simple new contact. In the simple new contact dot name, simple new contact dot phone, simple new contact dot account ID, simple new contact dot account ID. That's what we have given. Component dot set v dot simple new contact dot account ID equal to component dot record ID. Whatever the record ID we fetched from the URL is in that record ID. Then component dot find save record. If it is success, do this. I'll break this code right now. Right now I'm breaking this code. Right. So what was this? Success or failure? Success or failure. Now these two are clear. These two are clear. Okay. Now how do you add the component? Go back to the account object. Setup. Edit page. I think contact. Create a contact, first name, last name, title, save contact. So we have clicked on the button and go to the related list, finding contacts. What is it? Sadish Mela LDS. Record is getting inserted. But the problem here is you are creating the record very well, but every time I cannot go to child and see whether the record is created or not. If you get a confirmation message on the top saying record is saved, error, it is easy for me. To do this, we are going for this code. If I want to do this, we are going to go for toast message. The message we are going to use exclusively to print that save message or error message. We are going for toast. Now it is an event. We want to go for a toast message. How do you create the toast message? $a dot get e dot force colon show toast. It is a component. E colon force. Wherever I am using E colon is what? Application level. Do you remember the events I have used? E dot. So this is the event. First I created a event for this. Toast event I created. For this toast event, you want to print a message. Now if you want to print a message, what message you want to print? Where you want to print, as a title or a subtitle, or what you want to print. So I have to pass the message in the form of map, like a key value pair. So what is the name of the variable? Results toast. Results toast dot set parameters. Result toast dot set parameters. Where you want to give? Title equal to save. You will get it saved. Beside saved, you get a message. What is the message? This record was. You get a message. What is the message? Saved. Beside that, this record was saved. Title and message. Then we are supposed to fire. We are supposed to fire. So what is this called? Toast message. What is this called? Toast message. Let me create a record. You'll understand that.
Satish, what is $A? Can you tell me?
Asynchronous. Queued. Queued.
Okay.
Right. Now we are giving it. Look at the top. Look at the top. Not refreshed, I guess. So keep refreshing until the changes are reflected. What is the message you are getting here? Saved, record was saved. This is called toast message. This is called toast message. Now what did you get? On the top you got saved, at the bottom you got a message. That is a title, this is a message. Now create an instance of toast message. Okay, so toast, then for the toast, what is the data you want to print? Pass the parameters, then file. So how many events are available? How many steps are available here? Toast. Pass the parameters. Right. So basically, your action is performed by save record only. But before performing the save record, we have to initialize the object which you want to create. Like account is equal to new account. To initialize that, we have used get a new record. Everyone has followed the point? Everyone has followed the point? Okay. Now look at the component what I have taken. Here, if you remove this div, what is the code we have? Let us see. Anything new you are finding? Lightning input is for what? Creating an input box. So these are the lightning inputs. This is the lightning button. Are you finding any difference in this case? Right, boss? Am I clear with this? Am I clear? Am I clear? So if you want to refer to an element using an ID, how do you refer? Component dot find ID. Component dot find ID. So what are the methods we have seen? Two methods we have seen. One is save record, other is get new record. Get new record. This is creating a component adding to the existing pages. Record home page. Create your own component, add them to the record home page. If you want to build your own application, you can build your own application. Now your requirement is not building a new application, your requirement is adding new functionality on existing record. Your concept is not adding a new functionality, your concept is like adding, okay, not building a new application, your concept is like adding a new functionality on same. You are not interested on creating a new application, you are interested on adding the functionality on existing page. Right? That's where the LDS came into the picture. I hope you are good with this too. But still there are 17 more concepts are there. Okay. So basics. These all are basic functionality.